So welcome to the Explorers group in Myers-Briggs. These are the SPs. They are the last on the docket. I'm sorry it's taken some time to get to you guys if you've been anxiously waiting. Here it is. And we're starting off with my favorite explorer, the Istp. Kind of the most transformative energy, and it's very fitting because it is Scorpio season. We're at the very tail end of it, and it's such a Scorpio energy, Istp, that it's just like very enigmatic of that sign. And I'll get into why, but if you guys haven't watched the Myers-Briggs Zodiac video, I do advise you to do so because it shines a light on all that for sure. This is one of the ones I did not have like trouble assigning a sign because right off the bat it just read Scorpio to me. The only one I was really unsure about was Aries, and it was because I was caught in between, I think it was ISFP and ENTJ. Okay, so Knight of Cups. So yes, you guys, very, very much the romantic, the passionate person that just kind of comes, sweeps you off your feet. You guys are always looking for some romance in your life. And yeah, you guys look good doing it. I mean, lots of promises, good things. Look at that, the wings on the feet and the head. It could really take you places. So yes, passionate abound, but I will say ISTP is an interesting sort. Just like Scorpios, they come across as very, very quiet, very private in a sense. Even though they're in the explorer groups, they do like the excitement and stuff. They do have a penchant for being very reserved simultaneously. So you would think that those two don't really go together, but they do somehow. You'll often find Scorpios are very, very quiet until they have like something to say or an attack plan or something like that. You know what I mean? They're very calculating. And I think ISTP is as well in a sense. One of the greatest examples out there in fiction is Arya from Game of Thrones. And yes, I always say Arya because I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced, but everyone corrects me with Arya. I'm like, that just doesn't sound right for that world. So I go with Arya anyways. But she is super, super chaotic, transformative energy. I mean, she like... her character arc, I think, honestly, is one of the biggest in the series, honestly, for just, sorry guys, let me plug in my laptop. For any of the main characters, and she's, like, the youngest main character that gets, like, the most, you know, airtime. But she has a really unique journey, and it's always... she's always starting in like a world that she knows nothing about, and that's very ISTP. It's like when you place when you're on Google Maps and then you just type in a random location and you drop in that little person onto the street to get a street view. That's like the ISTP personality. I'm like, what got them to this point to where they were like, oh, I want to do this now? You know what I mean? Because it just seems like so different from everything they know, but yet they become like masters at it like that. Like they just have that that perseverance, like that no one else can identify with. I mean, it's solely theirs. And it's amazing to see. I had one really good friend that was an ISTP, and I just didn't understand how his brain worked because he would just like seemingly overnight would know everything about a topic. I'm just like, did you sleep at all? Like, you know, kind of a thing. So it's just very perplexing to me, but it's really, really cool. And that's kind of Scorpio energy, folks. Like it starts with nothing and then all of a sudden it goes to the other extreme, and it has everything. That's very Scorpio. It's nothing to everything. It's, or vice versa. You know what I mean? When you're in transition, and so it's really cool to see. And then Aya, her character in every season, she takes a really big turn, a really bold turn, one that always puts her life in like constant danger. But she is just doing it to survive. And ultimately, Scorpios live their life that way, or is set up cosmically that way, because it's a fight for survival. I think that's how they see things, and I think that's why they're not shy about being, very intense, or extremely self-involved. You know what I mean? Because it's just, they're just so aware of their place and everything, and they're just so scared of it going away or it not being secure. So they will take extreme measures to secure it. You know what I mean? In a dangerous Scorpio, you can see the extremes of like death and, like just bad things happening to people around them, because they just can't function in society in a way, even though they are the Sentinels. The P makes, okay, the P's will trip up things, because I really, really like P personalities. The Perceivers, one, because they're kind of equalizers. They see everybody as equal in a way, and everybody's given a chance. And they do say this about the ISTP, is that they don't say that one person is better than another. They keep it even, like everybody's on the same page, everybody's going through stuff. How could you say one person's experience is more relevant or is more intense than another? You don't know the individual. But MPs can be very, very optimistic. But I think more so, gosh, I got away from my point. It's hard for an SP combination, because you have a sentinel mind, which kind of stabilizes you in the term of society and abides by rules and standards set forth in society. And then you have the P personality, which doesn't do that. The P is just it's energy that can't be contained. Usually it's more innocent or exciting energy, and you'll see like flares of that from the ISTP. Like all of a sudden they'll kind of unlock their inner kid or something. But it's a really strange combination in my opinion, to see that they have to somehow navigate through society while not really abiding by rules at the same time. Like, it's this interesting dichotomy. And so I think that's why Scorpios just find it so difficult, because they don't fully conform to like one thing, because they keep it all open. The only thing that's important is their own survival at the end of the day, which should be the most important thing for all of us, but it's not, obviously. There has to be balance, so not everybody could be in there for the same thing. I think for Scorpios, it's just magnified a little more, like what's happening to me. But anyways, I got off on a tangent there. Okay, so very, very hard workers. This is the diligence. This is that, like I said, seemingly overnight quality that they have, where they all of a sudden know literally everything about something. Arya, like, it just takes the course of a season, but for the House of Black and White, it seems like it could take like a lifetime for some of those people to master the art of disguises and everything, the many faces. This is you guys, because you guys work so intensely. You give your full effort into it. You come out on top with it. And you guys can be very, very perfectionists. Like, you don't want to leave like any stone unturned. And this really kind of speaks to the Scorpio like investigative mind, especially in relationships. Scorpios like are always, they have those eyes that just like pierce you, because they see everything so clearly. They don't readily tell you. They wait for the ultimate moment. when it's going to have like the most impact or something. But they can see it all. So that's kind of that card right there. You guys are hard workers, so especially at work, it's a great outlet for your perseverance. Anything you do, you're just not going to half-ass. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's hard to say. We'll say Queen of Wands reverse, but leadership here, I wouldn't say this is the best suited sign for leadership, because as we know, Scorpio isn't really a leader in itself, because a leader has to be somebody that, yes, leads with their ego, but in a way that is unifying, in a way that is, it's seemingly without ego at the same time. You know, like there's a bigger purpose to their existence. And I think for Scorpios, I don't necessarily see that. I think I see that it's just their existence is their existence. You know what I mean? Like their world is their world. There isn't a bigger world that they're seeing or acting a part of. You know what I mean? Yes, they can go very, very far. You know, like a lot of musicians, like have Scorpio in their charts. A lot of actors have Scorpios because they're so good at conveying that passion in a role, that the drama and stuff, it comes out so easily in them. They're able to wrangle that. And then Seven of Swords. So maybe you guys are always trying to kind of look for leadership in a way, or there's something about the feminine. Maybe you guys have like a woman in your life or a female that is pretty bossy. She's pretty demanding. You know, this could even be the mother, possibly a fire sign if your mom's a fire sign, but she kind of gets the best of you in a way, where you just feel like you're constantly giving and giving again, and you're giving her like too much of your time. Like she demands too much from you, and you just don't know how to get away from it almost. So you kind of have to like run away in a sense, and just leave some things behind that you can't take with you. I don't know. It's just maybe it's just how you guys generally deal with leadership, is that you don't do well with it. You don't like to follow. Scorpios definitely don't like being told what to do, even though they aren't leaders themselves. So it's like, well, you know, maybe, yeah, maybe you just feel like, oh, interesting. Okay, maybe you feel like people get. God, this is okay. So this is the second time a card has fallen, and it's like exactly horizontal. I can't tell if it's reversed or not, just with the Queen of Wands. So, maybe you guys feel like people are constantly getting things from you. They're getting over on you, and that's the Scorpio mindset, is that people are constantly taking from you. And I just think it's a mindset. You know, with the swords, it's a state of mind. It's something that we've convinced ourselves is happening, when I don't think that's the reality. The reality is that there's a lot of good things in your life, because you work so diligently. But if there is a boss or a leader, or you know, even a mother type figure that you know, just takes and takes from you in whatever way, you know, maybe they just kind of divulge you from your path a little bit. They kind of simmer you down. You know, maybe just separate yourself from that kind of personality, because it works against you when it's reversed. And the Lovers, you guys, I really don't know. We'll talk about it up right here. But the Lovers, obviously, Scorpio attracts a lot of love because they are so passionate. You know, Gemini energy, if you guys have that. But yeah, I mean, like they were saying when I was looking up the ISTP that as independent as they are, they don't really get bothered when other people are around them when they're actively pursuing their goals or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you guys don't get bogged down by that. Whereas I, like an INFJ, I have to have personal space. Like, I have to be in my zone when I'm doing something like this. I can't have distractions. It doesn't look like you guys really get distracted from others because you're just so fully concentrated on that goal that it's like nothing could really veer you off course. You know what I mean? It's like once you make up your mind. And so love could do that too. Love could be a great way for you guys to express things, and it not deter you off course. Like, I feel like for a lot of signs and a lot of types out there, love can do the opposite of what they personally want to do for themselves. Just because I feel like a lot of people just kind of take the easy route with love. They just, just because someone comes into your life doesn't mean that it's meant to be, or that you just have to give everything to them. It's like, take your time. If that person isn't fully what you want, or if they're not encouraging you on your path, then it's like there are other people out there. Just be patient and just keep working on yourself in the meantime. But again, I'm not sure whether this love was upright or reverse. So maybe that's how you guys feel. Maybe you don't know whether love is good for you or not. And this just could be talking about the duality. Well, we did just get King of Cups, so maybe it is beneficial. But I think this is referring more so to you guys as opposed to someone else, because we already see the Knight. So you guys are just very, very passionate energies. If you've always found yourself in a relationship time and time again, it's showing here. Okay, and we got Leo again reversed, because Queen of Wands. Typically, I look for Leo. I know sometimes it can be Aries or Pisces, but it's got the sunflower and the black cat, which I always see, and it's even got lions on it, which I always see with Leo. And yeah, so love could, like I was trying to say, was the duality between you two, how you're seemingly calm, and then you kind of have this sporadic nature too, or this erratic nature, my bad, where all of a sudden, like, you switch it on. And then let's talk about your functions, because I always forget. Like, I'll pull it up right before the video and then I'll forget. So introverted thinking is what you guys lead with. So it is a personal, unique experience fully happening inside your mind. You have a very private nature in that way, and that's talking about that calculating mind of a Scorpio. That's really their most powerful thing in their arsenal. Extroverted sensing. This is talking about the mechanic in you all, how you are so easily able to adapt because you kind of find every little nook and cranny about something that you put your mind to, and that you'll know it in a short amount of time because it's your second strongest function. So you guys are very perceptive to what's happening around you in an environment, all of that. Like, you could read a room kind of a thing. But it's not something you would probably ever tell someone else. It's just information for you to think about and for you to ponder and for you to store in your encyclopedic mind, I guess. Introverted intuition. Oh, okay, so we do share a function. Actually, the last two functions we do share. Oh, you know what? Actually, we share all these functions. They're just in different order for an INFJ. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Introverted intuition is your third function, so not one of your strongest, but you guys can see through, and I think this is talking about more of the perception that you guys have, the perceiver, that there's something maybe bigger going on, but it just doesn't steer you off course, because those two dominant functions of you guys is just such an intimate experience. That stuff doesn't really play out. But if you're pretty good at predicting things, they do say Scorpios are very, very good at predicting like what other people will do. I don't think they could answer that for themselves, but when the focus is on other people, I think that they can figure it out pretty easily. So if you ever like find yourself being like, oh, well, she's gonna pick that one, or she, you know what I mean? Like he's gonna say this in just a second, or watching a movie or something like that, and you can predict like the end of the quote or the line without ever having seen it before. That's kind of like, third function introverted intuition. And extroverted feeling is the last weakest function, okay? So what that kind of means is maybe that's why we're seeing this here, because I feel like Leos are very good extroverted feelers. Extroverted feeling is kind of like you guys find yourselves maybe with other people in social situations and stuff, but you're not able to empathically like kind of be on their level in a sense, because it's all about you in a sense. Like you're just not looking to be an extroverted feeler. You have to kind of literally take on that other person's perception or that other person's emotions when you're in that space, and that's empathy. So maybe you guys really have a hard time finding empathy, or you know what I mean, like putting yourselves in another person's shoes, which is more of an Aquarius trait. Um, Maybe because it's just so self-involved, and I'm not saying that you guys are selfish. I'm just saying that your purpose just isn't that of being there for other people emotionally or helpfully, because that's just not how you guys operate here. Um, it's all happening internally on to you, so it's not meant to be expressed externally. Yes, I would at least try to find ways to at least try to fake like that you care for others and that you're there for them and stuff, but it's not something that you guys are going to easily be able to do naturally, with it being your weakest function. So when someone's going through emotion or something, you just don't really know how to handle that situation. Maybe you kind of run away from it, or you just get really awkward. So but being there for someone at minimum will at least make them feel better. You know what I mean? So just wait it out, as awkward as it can be. Um, at least you were there and you were hearing them, because you guys could probably be very good listeners, at least, being so internal. But yeah, that's my advice for that. Anyways, going in a bunch of directions here. So King of Cups. So this is the ultimate lover. This is the ultimate lover. Lover again. So yes, that is what we're seeing here. So you guys have a lot going for you. You really embody that. I even saw the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck, but I kept going. He's very passionate as well. Yeah, so you really promise a lot, but it looks like you deliver on it too. Like whatever you say kind of is the law in a way, for Scorpios. Like they don't go against their word or anything. And, like Capricorn in the third house of communication, it's very like what they say is it and nothing else. You know what I mean? And you guys kind of stick by your word. But King of Cups, you could really go places with this guy. Just kind of like the ultimate lover, very dedicated, but more of a masculine kind of energy, more of a, where we see the feminine cards here. We'll get to the 8 or the 9 of Pentacles reversed. When we see the feminine cards, they're not really of the nature. The masculine kind of puts themselves first, the ego, the self-experience. So that's kind of more reticent of who you guys are. You're more so the one that'll bring home the bacon, that'll, you know what I mean, like the sexy one, the male kind of force in the relationship. So the other stuff, the more the female kind of energy and stuff, you guys don't really relate to as well. You're not really in touch with your emotions. You're not really there for others, obviously, with the extroverted feeling being the fourth. And yeah, but King of Cups, I mean, damn, it looks very good. So Strength reversed. Strength reversed can literally mean weakness, but I think that's a little too simplistic. Strength reversed just means that sometimes the obstacles will be overwhelming for you guys, and you won't lead with um, integrity. Some of like what the fire signs leave with, like just think about what I was saying about earlier. Like you guys aren't natural leaders in a way because you're not really operating for the good of humanity or anything like that. Like that's not your existence. And that's kind of what strength is. It's like doing the hard thing for the benefit of others, or you know what I mean, because you know it's the right thing to do. So you guys may have, we I think we know this by now with Scorpios and especially water signs. um, they have a harder time leading with a moralistic sensibility. um, it's more built around survival, so when you're pushed to survive, you do things that are a little more extreme. So you get away a little bit from your truth in situations like that, because that fortitude, that kind of inner strength, just is kind of like lacking a little bit. I'm sorry. Finally had a video where the neighbor isn't annoying me, and now the lawn people are out annoying me. So ready to move, you guys. So Nine of Pentacles reversed. But you guys, how do I word this? Because this is a very altruistic card. Um, and it's like, it's something that you guys almost, maybe it's something that you guys try to be. Maybe you guys try to look like you're altruistic in a way, or that you try to be helpful, but it's just not like a natural ease of being helpful. You know what I mean? It's like, maybe you'll expunge too much of yourself when you are trying to be helpful. Maybe it just doesn't like translate to the other person or the other party that you're trying to help. Um, or gift giving, things like that. They don't resonate. They're just like, they're lost on the people. They're just like, oh, okay, and they didn't really go get where you were trying to go with it, or if it was like an inside joke or something that happened like years ago, like it's kind of lost. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really get the thing that you were looking for. Yeah, I don't know. You guys could love animals for sure. We see a couple of them already. Um, hmm. It's interesting. Those are some very positive cards reversed. Um, Maybe you guys just have a hard time discerning how much you should give to others. Maybe that's what it is. You just really don't know how much of yourself can be there for other people and vice versa. You just don't know that separation, because here in this card, she is only giving half of what she's keeping for herself. Three Pentacles she's giving away. And so you guys just aren't really super. You just you just don't know how much to keep for yourself, basically, and it almost looks like the things that you do give um, don't really do any good. If you feel like you're trying to help people again and again, or trying to do something altruistic, and it just never like culminates in the way you intended or something, there's probably a message or a lesson there that you're just not learning, and kind of being a little stubborn about. So look into that. You guys, yeah, I'm not going to go more into detail than that. Okay, so the sun reversed, very childlike, sporadic energy, like we were saying, the ISTP, but that's not who you are all the time. Um, you know, it's it's more so, it could be talking about the naivety, but I feel like you guys still, even if you are naive, if you're challenged, you're going to find success, because It just takes that little bit of like someone pushing you, and you will push back like the Scorpio energy that you guys are. So um, maybe there's a need to kind of be um, childlike. Maybe we find ourselves being a little impatient, a little demanding, like a whining child a little bit. Um, Maybe you guys kind of feel like you can't always find the sunlight. Maybe you guys, it's harder to be a little positive, like positivity, like through, you know what I mean? Like you don't wake up and it's not like where you want to open the blinds and you're like, ah, today, and like the birds are singing and all that. Maybe that's not who you are. You guys, Scorpios, you can usually find like in a dark room on a computer or something, kind of like plotting a revenge. That's a very stereotypical like caricature of a Scorpio, but that's kind of more so your style, a water sign. Not that I'm saying every ISTP is a Scorpio, you guys. I'm just saying that the overlap between the two is just, it's so engulfing, and it just makes so much sense that I start referring to them simultaneously. So sorry about that. I did the same thing with the moms and the ESFJ video. Um, Maybe you guys had a troubling childhood. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Could be. Maybe you feel like you never got to be a child, Things just weren't easy growing up. And so it's kind of made you a little more pessimistic, a little more calculating, a little more reserved, you know? Okay. And there is a tendency to take on more than you can handle. Um, Obviously, I don't doubt you guys, but it's still probably more than you need to do at the end of the day. And you could even bring your troubles home with you. So it's like you never really rest. There's always stuff that is demanding your conscious effort, even when you're at home, even when you're away from it, away from those responsibilities, it still weighs on you. Um, so do me a favor, and if you just, like here, it's almost like the more you take on, it's just like the less it really benefits you and the less the meaning kind of comes through for other people. So, not to say not to help other people, but be very careful not to overdo it, not to give yourself too much, especially when it's not called for or there's not some kind of purpose behind it. Wait out your, yeah, just wait it out, and when the situation really demands you, then it'll be that much more fulfilling and rewarding because it'll be necessary. But don't take on more than you can chew. Um, yeah, but not too bad. I'm sorry. I have like a slight like throat thing, and I don't know. I can't really relax today. I've got a lot going on in my personal life, Scorpio season, so I'm not really zen right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm going to try my best to get the rest of the Explorer group done. You guys were the first, and I'll have all 16 up, hopefully by the time I start doing the Sagittarius videos, which will be in not even a week, maybe. So yeah, comment. Let me know if you have any more questions or concerns, or if you see some of these cards come up a lot for yourself. Yeah, message me.